up everybody, it's your girl Merle, and today we're gonna be talking about something a little controversial. I'm not here to tell you I'm not eating vegan anymore. What I'm gonna do today is talk about my views on veganism and how I made it work for me. Because let's be honest, it can be a little judgy. First and foremost, let's get one thing straight. Veganism and plant-based are not the same thing. Veganism is defined as a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. Plant-based doesn't have a solid definition that I could find across the board, but basically it means that it's a diet derived mainly from plants. But it doesn't mean 100% from plants, and it has nothing to do kind of with like your lifestyle. Like you could still wear leather and fur and eat plant-based. And a lot of the time, veganism is used as a blanket term for everything. So for me, I am admittedly passionate about veganism. I mean, I have a whole series for work all about vegan food. I'm passionate about animals, sustainability. Frankly, it makes me feel fantastic eating vegan food. It does. But if you look at all different diets, I feel like vegetarianism and veganism are treated the most like a lifestyle or like a club. It's kind of like this exclusive thing that really becomes part of your identity when you tell people, when you meet somebody else who's vegan, you're like, oh my God, me too. I understand the struggles and all the things. There is this sort of judgy vegan stereotype that I have found to be both true and not true depending on the vegan. But there is certainly a little part of it where people who are vegan can feel like they own a bit of a moral high ground above pescatarians, omnivores, vegetarians even. And I understand how annoying that is for people that are not vegan and that feel judged. And I can also understand that on the vegan side, because I've been practicing veganism for a while now, and I have to admit that I've had the thoughts sometimes. I've had the judgy thoughts. I'm not gonna lie to you people. People ask me all the time if I judge other people for eating meat, and I say no, because I used to eat meat, which is true. I did. I love meat. I love the taste of meat. But I've had thoughts. I've had those thoughts go through my head because being vegan isn't always easy, you know? You have to work a little harder. You have to say no to things that are delicious. And you know, with the world imploding and all, it feels like being more plant-based or going vegan is more of something we do for the planet. So I've definitely had the thoughts in my mind where it's like,
why don't people care about the environment enough to cut back on meat intake? I know cheese is delicious, trust me, I know cheese is delicious, but the dairy industry is absolutely terrifying. It's worse than any scary movie you've ever seen, and maybe even worse than the meat industry.
Why don't more people care?
I know I've kind of made a path for myself as like the chill vegan, but ask anyone who's close to me, I have my moments, you know? I have my moments. The truth is, that judgment solves absolutely nothing. It only isolates you further and makes you bitter, and let's face it, it makes you no fun to be around at a party after a few drinks. No fun at all. But what's more important is that having those judgmental thoughts and getting angry at other people for not being vegan really isn't fair, because the vegan lifestyle is not affordable, attainable, or accessible to everyone equally. It's not. It becomes a really scary thing coming from a privileged place where I can be vegan to frown upon someone who can't be vegan and think I have a moral high ground on them. It's just wrong. The most important thing we can do is to try to make a plant-based diet more accessible to more people. Try to make fresh fruit and vegetables accessible to more people. That is as much an act in veganism as eating a vegan meal, because it should be 100% fair and it should be equally accessible to all people. We should also be fighting for factory farm workers, fighting for humane conditions for farm workers. There are a lot of things we can do to make the world a better place. And it's more complicated than simply you're vegan or you're not. And of course, don't get me wrong, I know there are people that could, of course, afford and access a vegan lifestyle, but choose not to. As frustrating as that might be, it's their choice at the end of the day, and they have the right to eat what they want. I am in no way trying to say that veganism isn't important or to try to dissuade you from being vegan 100% of the time. Researchers at Oxford believe that cutting meat and dairy products from your diet could actually reduce a person's carbon footprint by 73%. That's a lot. Meat and dairy, particularly cows, contribute to about 14.5% of the world's greenhouse gases every year. That's roughly the same, if not a little bit more, than like all forms of transportation combined. So the facts are there, there's no doubt about it. It's important. I mean, realistically, animals eat other animals. Factory farming, however, is unnatural, it is horrible for the environment, it is horrible for the animals, and it's not good for the people that work in those factories either. So for that reason, here comes my chill vegan vibe again. I don't have as much against people that hunt for their own food. I think that it is a more honest way to confront whatever you're eating, and you know, you're fully immersed in the process, you actually kill the animal and you use every part of it. There's a lot less waste there and it feels more natural to me. So I don't have as much of an issue with that. That falls kind of more into the like, not for me, but do you category. And I know some people that are vegan, that makes you want to crawl up a wall and twirl your head around like The Exorcist, but that's just how I feel. If you're gonna eat meat, that's kind of the most natural way to do it. And again, I'm not saying that everyone has the ability to go out and hunt their own meat. Of course, I just thought I should make that little sidebar. So now that I've gotten a few people really angry, let's talk about cancel culture, because it is a real thing. And especially if you sit at like the vegan influencer table at lunch on the internet. People's careers have been destroyed. They receive hate mail and death threats all because they've been caught cheating when they say they're vegan. Someone will see them out at a restaurant, or they come out to the internet saying they're not vegan anymore. And of course, don't get me wrong, if you're out there preaching that veganism is the only way and everyone should be 100% vegan and there's no excuse, and then you're caught like eating a steak, yeah, that's not a good look. But everybody's different. Everybody should have the freedom of choice. And in fact, some people have legitimate health reasons why they can't be 100% vegan, and I think we should all respect that. So it's okay to be disappointed in people who decide not to be vegan anymore, but it's not okay to be cruel. We're supposed to be cruelty-free. You're probably wondering, what is this rambling message video? Where is this headed? What are you saying? Are you gonna become a hunter? Are you gonna like live in the woods wearing animal skulls? No. Basically what I wanna do is be open about my experience around veganism. And the truth is, I haven't been vegan 100% of the time. I have messed up, which is why I feel much more comfortable saying I'm plant-based or that I practice veganism. Because the truth be told is, I am so passionate about veganism. Yes, I would love it if I could get people to move off of animals and stop factory farming, 100%. Yes, I wish that. The thing is, I don't believe that it's a realistic expectation that everyone's gonna go 100% vegan. I just don't think it is. And I think a lot of people feel the pressure to be 100% vegan, never mess up, don't ever have a craving, don't you dare ever even think about cheese again once you say you're vegan. That's the scary stuff that doesn't make us seem very fun to be around and doesn't make veganism very appealing. If 99.95% of the time I'm a perfect vegan, and then Thanksgiving rolls around and I wanna have a cookie that my 94-year-old grandmother made, and that means I'm not vegan, fine. You don't have to call me vegan. You need to know that it's okay to take a break here and there. You need to know it's okay to choose to break it for a day. You need to know that it's okay to never break it. But the bottom line is, it's your choice, and we don't need to hide these things. My aim here is not to make vegans less vegan. My aim is to make veganism more appealing and more accessible, and honestly less judgmental and stressful for people who are considering incorporating more plant-based meals into their diet. Let's go through a few ways that I'm not a perfect vegan. Well, for one, I have a giant leather couch at my apartment that my grandfather gifted me. It is the most expensive thing I own, and he gave it to me a year before I went vegetarian. I'm not burning that couch. Feels like a waste if I just were to dump it to get rid of it. So there's one way. When I'm visiting my mom's place, where I am right now, her neighbor has rescue chickens that have actually been rescued from factory farms. And so they live on her land, you know, they're very happy. And just naturally, there's no roosters, so none of the eggs are fertilized, but naturally they lay eggs. I personally love eggs, and it's either throw the egg away or eat the egg. So when I'm home, which is like once or twice a year, I don't feel guilty about eating a few of them. I'm okay with being a not perfect vegan. I'm okay with being a plant-based person who just makes a career right now out of making vegan recipes and trying to make veganism more accessible. If that's my form of veganism, that works for me. But what I'm trying to do is make you feel more comfortable admitting if you've had indulgences. You're not vegan enough for some people, but you're too vegan for other people. So I think it's important for me to be open and honest with people who don't have the financial means or don't have the accessibility to be 100% vegan every single day of the year. To know that's okay. Don't give up. Don't stop trying to eat vegan just because you can't do it every day. Because that actually is worse than if you were to try to be 100% vegan for 1 year, but then got too frustrated and quit. There's even a way now to estimate what your carbon footprint is based on your diet. and I will put a link to that below. I will also put a link below to this incredible article slash infographic that the New York Times did. It is amazing. Wherever you are on this journey of being plant-based or vegan, whether you already are or you're thinking about it, just check this thing out because it's so cool. It's also just fun to go through, and it answers all of your questions about all different kinds of things surrounding veganism. Sustainability impacts of fish versus cows, and then dairy. Is it a big deal about dairy? All of those questions you have, they're all in this article. So I'm gonna link that in my description as well. Highly, highly recommend you check it out, even if you just want a refresher. I think one of the most effective ways to kind of try to share veganism with people or share a plant-based diet with people is to make the food and share the food. Show people how delicious it can be. Don't be afraid to make vegan food for your friends when they come over, even if you're not 100% vegan. That's a really great way to open the circle and to broaden other people's horizons without being super in your face. Let the food speak for itself.